Evening, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Elder Scrolls Online. Today we're going to look into getting companions in this game. Basically, you get an AI partner who helps you in battles. Can make a few things a little bit easier, can make adventure easier. The downside is that, like a companion in a Fallout or an Elder Scrolls game, I guess this is more Fallout than Elder Scrolls, but they have things they like, they have things they dislike, so, you know, if somebody doesn't like it when you go mining, they will lose disposition if they're out when you do that particular task. But they can save your butt in battles, so there is that. And I happen to know where one can be unlocked, because you have to do their quest that unlocks them before you're allowed to make use of them. Even if I go into my collections, I believe they're already there, but it does specify you have to complete their quest before you can use them. So I might as well go do that first. Officially, on my account, I've got 2 unlocked. I don't know how many there are total. I want to say there's 3 spots, but you might be able to get more through, like, the real money shop and all that crap. But for now, we're going to hug this wall. Make sure I'm going in the right direction. Yeah, okay. Because I want to go down to a cave sort of near the southern point. This is going to be a guy that's, I believe he's already captured and you have to help him out. I'm going to pass by some stuff we have already gone to dungeon-wise, but that's fine. Oops, sorry. How much further down are we? We're getting there. I think we're going to, like, where you see an exclamation point. I probably could have just teleported over there, but we can mark a few other things off on the map as we go. Avoid him. I mean, we'd be able to take him, but I want to avoid taking too much damage and slowing myself down. So, you know what? Let me take out the horse. This will speed us up a little bit. I don't have much in the way of the upgrades for the horse as far as speed goes, because I've been concentrating on the extra bag space, but I think technically it's slightly faster than walking. Well, it doesn't really look like it's much faster, honestly. But it is its own agility bar, so, you know, it gives you more space in which to run. Also gets his agility back fairly quickly. Now here's where I think we're going towards, this guy here. Perhaps this was not such a grand idea. Ah, you've caught me in a moment of indecision, stranger. I set out with the idea of looking into strange rumors concerning Deepscorn Hollow. Now that I've had some time to think it over, I find that I lack the courage for the task. Who are you? What sort of rumors have you heard? I am Zeechus. I deal in rumors, especially the sort that hint at opportunities. For example, there is a cave called Deepscorn Hollow on an island by the coast. It is said to be a smuggler's den. But that is not the only rumor about the place. What else have you heard about Deepscorn Hollow? Strange figures in hoods, travelers who disappear, masked nobles, and dark rebels. Smugglers' tales to scare off the locals, or something more? You seem brave, perhaps you are interested. Remember your old friend Zeechus if you find the riches there. I'll go to Deepscorn Hollow and investigate these rumors. Yep, okay, that is leading me about where I was hoping it would. I think you could have just gone right over there and gotten the same quest, but with a different beginning, because they do allow you to do that a couple of times in this game. There'll be multiple people that give you the same quest. I'm gonna somewhat keep my distance from those people, because I tend to try to avoid being around too many people, because if you're trying to do the same area at the same time, you often have to fight for enemies and experience and everything. It's just not worth it. Unless you're in a group, obviously.
I could really use some help.
Thank the 8 divines. I could really use some help. The name's Bastion. Watch yourself, friend. I was accosted by a dark elf at this very spot. She went into the cave over there hours ago. But she might return at any moment. What dark elf? What cave? The dark elf Tenari Bells. She's a traveler I met along the road. The cave is Deepscorn Hollow. The entrance is over by the dock. I'm here to retrieve a fellow named Quistley Sabel. His family sent me to find him. I think he's in trouble. What do you want from me? Untie me, please. The Sabels will pay if you help me get to Quistley out of whatever trouble he's in. And I could use someone to watch my back. Interested? Oh, and check the shack. I think Tenari dropped something during our struggle. I'll see if the Dark Elf left any clues behind. I'll help you rescue Quistley. Yeah, thank you. Look around, would you? I'd like to examine whatever my attacker dropped. As we see, we got something shining over here. Check out. Tenari Bells. As promised, our agreement in writing. That you do not take me at my word after our long association is a bit insulting. But I am feeling indulgent. You are to bring me one Quistley Sabel to the Syndicate in Leowin, preferably alive. Complete this job and your debt to the Syndicate will be cleared. This fool Quistley has difficulty remembering his debts, but the Sabels are a wealthy Daggerfall family. Maybe they can pay off their son's obligation. If not, debts can be paid off in a number of ways, as you well know. Current whereabouts. Seen leaving the city some weeks ago, claimed to be going to Gedon. That might be Gideon as well. May have joined smugglers and bandits operating out of a cave south and east of Leywin, Deepscorn Cavern or caves. The area is riddled with caves. Wears an expensive signet ring, dresses like a useless rich knob, fancies himself as a ladies' man, brags a lot. Hopefully smugglers haven't killed him before he can collect on his debt. Lars Tool, Leywin. Now we're here to check this. I will take a design. Where's it going? There it is. A letter? I knew I saw something fall out of Tenari's satchel when she ambushed me. Why, this is a contract. Tenari Bells is bringing Quistley in to pay debts in Leywin. You and Tenari Bells are after the same quarry. Damn it. I guess that explains why Tenari knocked me out and tied me up. Of course, that idiot Quistley would gamble away more than he had in his coin purse. He's done it before. He usually begs his parents for help, though. Tenari's got a head start on you. I'd have just let the Dark Elf have him, but it would be dishonorable. I better see if we can catch up to her. I'd like to leave her tied up and empty-handed when I drag Quistley out of here by his arrogant nose. Did you tell Tenari you were going to Deepscorn Hollow? Probably? Yes, I did. We were just idly talking on the road. It never occurred to me that someone else might be looking for the petulant brat. Not the first time I've been asked to get Quistley out of trouble. You don't sound very fond of him. I should try to hide it better, I suppose. We were raised together, more or less, except he was the first of a wealthy family, and I was the foundling they took in. Something which Quistley never quite let me forget. Have you been looking for him all along? Well, it's the right thing to do. I mean, the Sabels gave me shelter, educated me alongside Quistley, even hired a tutor for me when I showed some magical aptitude. I owe them. And if looking out for Quistley is how I pay them back, so be it. Did Tenari react when you mentioned your task? No, not that I noticed. She said to keep an eye out for smugglers along the coast and departed soon after. She likely just hung back and followed me the rest of the way. Foolish of me. I should have been more alert. How often do you work for him? All the time. House Sabella's interested in a dozen cities. I travel all over Tamriel looking after their business. I'm a mage by training, but I spend my days dealing with contracts and cargoes, and chasing after Quistley. If you don't like the work, why do you do it? The Zabels fostered me from the time I was small, and seeing to my education and giving me a place in their home. As I grew older, Lord Sabel employed me in the family's business. What I want to do isn't important. I have an obligation. Let's go find him. This is different for Quisley. He's not one for any sort of rough living, other than maybe going to the gambling dens and taverns in the seedier parts of town. Did you tell her why you were going to the Deep Scorn?
Probably.
Okay, so he's just going to repeat that. I think we've already done all this stuff, so we'll just say goodbye and move along. Make our way down to the docks where we get a cave open. A dock, an abandoned shack, a cave by the water. Looks like a smuggler's den to me. Now, this isn't a delve, so I don't think there is anything notable in here as far as just the quest itself.
Maybe there's more to this place than
meets the eye. I get some enemies right off the bat, so do our best to whittle them down. One bummer with the fact that I don't play this character unless I'm recording this is I often forget what is the best skills to use for him. I know the sight swing is fairly powerful. I mean, we're still pretty early on, so I likely have not even gotten the majority of stuff we want to get. Oh, I thought he exploded. Alright. Don't need that. Actually, I don't think I do. No, we have enchantments on ours. Yeah, I don't think there'll be a sky shard here, so we can probably just go through it as swiftly as we can. I'll grab that. We don't have that recipe yet. That's empty, so we can't get anything off of there. I'm not sure why it's still showing like as if I have the skeleton thing out, because he explodes as soon as you use him. So it's a little weird. So far, I'm not really impressed with the blast bones. Like, it doesn't seem to do much at all. I don't know, maybe it's meant to be like a way of pulling somebody rather than using it in the midst of a regular battle. Because I could see the use of that. Let's see. I cast you now. Or maybe it's not actually finishing the cast because I'm trying to cast it in battle. Let me try casting it after the battle itself is over. Alright, so if I cast you now, nothing happens. Okay? I mean, it might have a cooldown. These roots. It looks like there's another passage beyond.
I wonder what this place was. It doesn't look dwarven.
That seems like it only allows you to cast it when you're in a fight. But it barely looks like it does anything, looking at their life bar. I'm not really sure what it's meant to be doing for me. I'll have to double check what the skill does in a minute. Grab that just to break down. Alright, so if I go into this. Sometimes a flaming skeleton from the ground. After 2.5 seconds, the skeleton runs after the target and explodes when it gets close to them, dealing 6,000 damage. I mean, it says that, but like if I just do this and oh, okay, it worked that time. Every other time it just seems like it breaks. Maybe it's because I'm using another skill before it's fully formed. That could be what's causing that. Which, if so, that's kind of annoying. Or maybe it's just because they had so much health it didn't look like it did much. I'd probably prefer something a bit more just AI controlled. Look, they have captives. Sort of like a pet class or something. We mean you no harm. We're looking for someone. Psst, over here. Let me out before these cultists kill me. Let me out too. There's a cult of Sithis in these caves. They sacrifice people. Right, pop open the door. Looks like this one is the important one. I would not linger here. Flee if you value your life.
Thank you. You
should get out of here too, stranger. These people, the Unmakers, they're crazy. I think they're preparing to sacrifice people. Why would anyone want to do such a thing? We're looking for a Brett named Quisley Savell. Have you seen him? I've met no one by that name, but that doesn't mean he isn't here somewhere. The only non-cultist I've seen in days was a dark elf who sneaked by a short time ago. She motioned for us to wait and then left without a word. I should go. Wait, who are these people? Why did they take you prisoner? They're cultists, I think. They follow someone called the Daughter of Sithis. And they talk about sacrifices to the Unmaker. I was on the road to Gideon when they grabbed me. Can I go now? Take the passage to the south and be careful. Before we continue, let's talk a moment. Cultists. That explains some of the decoration in here. So much for the smuggler hypothesis. I didn't expect to have to fight through a nest of cultists to extract Quisley from this mess, but so be it. What's he getting himself mixed up in now? Do you know anything about Sithis cults? What's there to know? They worship a god of death, darkness, and primordial chaos. Nothing good can come of that. Quisley's always getting into trouble, but it usually involves love or dice. He could be in a real danger this time. The Wood Elf saw Tanari Bells come through here not long ago. She wants Quisley alive too. Allowing Quisley to be dragged off to angry criminals is not much of an improvement. While Quisley might deserve it, I can't let Tanari Bells get him either. I want to try to grab one of these cultists and get some answers. Why are you responsible for him? It's a long story. Suffice to say, I owe his family a great debt. Quisley and I were more or less raised together. The Savells count on me to watch out for him or help him when he needs it. So you're like brothers. That's what the Savells say when they need me to help them. But he's their son, I'm just someone they raised. Forgive me if I sound ungrateful. They took me in to make sure I was clothed, educated, and trained. Didn't have to do that. How many times have you had to get him out of trouble? I lost count. He does as he pleases, and unfortunately what pleases him seems to land him in hot water every time. This, though, how Quisley stumbled into cult's clutches, I can only guess. You said you owe the Savells a debt. I'm the son of Lord Martel Halix, the traitor. A traitor? I haven't heard of him. I suppose the story is not well known outside of court circles. My father was one of High King Emmerich's most trusted advisors. But when I was only a toddler, he plotted to secretly murder Emmerich and appoint himself regent, or so I'm told. What happened? He failed, of course. Others in my family were implicated in the plot. The High King stripped House Halix of its titles and domains. My mother died of shame. I was far too young to have been a part of it, though, so the Savells took me in. Well, sucks to be that guy. No reason to go back down there, so we'll just keep trugging along this way. This is definitely not a smuggling operation. We're running into other players, so we're going to have to deal with some stuff being dead before we get there.
Let's corner one of these cultists.
Corner one of these cultists. They might know what happened to Quisley. I can do that. Is that everything? No, there's one thing that's still alive. Or at least there was. I'm not really with them. Don't hurt me. You there, stop. Now we're just following him here, I'm guessing. Yeah, go ahead. You better not lay a finger on me. You have no idea who you're dealing with. Xanathar, give me patience. What is the meaning of this intrusion? Who are you people? What do you think you're doing here? I warn you, I am favored by the daughter of Sithis. She will avenge every injury you inflict upon me. We need info. We're looking for Quisley Savell. Quisley Savell? He belongs to Lalius now. She is the daughter of Sithis, and none dare defy her. Leave while you can. You're fools if you think you can save him from her. If anything happens to him, you're not walking out of here. No. Quisley is Lalia's consort. You'll find them in the Fane of Scorn. I think the way there is to back the way you came, or maybe you had. He's safer now, though. They've got someone else to sacrifice today. Please don't hurt me. Another sacrifice. They caught a dark elf sneaking around. Even now she faces the death of the Crystal Fangs in the ritual room just ahead. But Lalius isn't there. She and her brother are in the Fane below. Your Quisley is with them, I think. Now, Bastion, what do you want to do with this cultist?
I don't believe him.
I don't believe him. I think he knows more than he says he does. The daughter of Sithis, the Fane of Scorn. I don't believe it. Quisley's fallen in with death worshippers? He the type to join a cult? Hardly. The only thing that interests Quisley is himself. Either these Sithis followers hid their true nature to lure him in, or he's so besotted with a woman that he doesn't realize he's in danger. Either way, I better get him out of here. What about Bells? I'm not sure I believe the sniveling cultist, but we shouldn't let anyone get sacrificed, not even Tanari Bells. Let's split up. You keep going in case he's telling the truth. I'll see if I can find out more about the daughter in the Fane. I'll see you later. Please, I'll tell you anything you want. Just let me go. I know where a map of this place is. It's not far. Just you know, don't hit me. Helpful of you. What else can you tell me? Yeah, that seems to be the end of that dialogue tree, so let's keep going. What do we got here? He's in the middle. I have to break crystals? Help break the crystals. Please, they're killing me. Alright, is anybody going to attempt to stop me from doing this? Or maybe there's supposed to be people, but they've been recently killed? Praise Vec. Thank you, stranger. Let's talk. Somewhere safer. Alright, well. I guess we will benefit from somebody else having gotten here first. Those idiots were going to sacrifice me to Sithis. Ugh, my skin feels like I got 1,000 tiny spiders biting me. That was horrible. Oh, and thank you. I don't know what someone like you is doing here, but I won't argue with Providence. I'm helping Bastion Halix find his foster brother. Ah, the dutiful and not terribly clever mage. I'll bet he's angry with me. I took care not to inflict any permanent damage on him, and I fully intend to set him free just as soon as I finish here. It's business, not personal. I freed Bastion and found a contract with Lara's Tool. And you understand my predicament. I need Savell if I want Lara's Tool off my back, but it's not worth getting myself killed over. Help me get out of here and I'll help you. I gotta look at a map, and so I think I know where we can find Savell. What do you know about this place? Not much. Lara's Toll suspected that Quisley was hiding out in a smuggler's cave on the coast. I thought I'd have to check them all, then I ran into your firm Bastion. I knew there was something off about the smuggler story, though. It didn't fit. How much of a debt does Quisley Savell owe this Lara's Toll?
He must be in deep.
He must be in deep. If Lars tells willing to write off what I owe to get his claws on Quistley, too bad for him, but it's a chance for me to get out of a bad situation. Lars Tell makes a good living from other people's mistakes or desperation. How'd you end up into debt?
I borrowed gold against imagined winnings.
I borrowed gold against imagined winnings, like every gambler ever. You ask a lot of questions, not to be rude. But I'd rather find Quistley and get out of here. These cultists already tried to sacrifice me once, after all. You said something about a map? I found notes left behind by some unfortunate scholar. He'd apparently come here to make a survey of the ruins. I hope he really had the good sense to retreat when he found evidence of a cult presence. More likely he came to a bad end. Did you see anything about a chamber called the Fane of Scorn? I did. It's all the way down at the end of this maze, naturally. The scholar's notes hinted that it's an abandoned temple. Once dedicated to Sithis. Well, it's probably not abandoned now. Good. I saw a rough map of this place before I got caught, so I think I know where to go. I'll grab those. I'll keep it away from running more cultists. After that ritual, I'm in no condition for a fight. The cultists definitely go on and on about Sithis. Looks like we're going this way. I think we got enough of a distance to where we're not going to be running into too many other players as we're going through this. Bone Tyrant increased to 11. When we get another skill point, I'm going to have to give a really good look to what skills are available. Because, man, I wouldn't mind having something to a degree of just summon a skeleton to fight with me. Because if I can have, like, I don't know, two different companions technically at once, I think it would be very helpful. I guess we'll help these guys clear this out, because why not? Damn, a dead end and a vampire in a cage. This isn't terribly helpful.
This isn't terribly helpful. There's got to be a way through.
I gotta wait for her to get in position so I can talk to her. There we go.
The map showed a passage that I
would have sworn the map I saw showed a passage here. Unless, could it be a hidden passage? I'll look around a bit, but why don't you see if the vampire knows anything? What do you think the vampire knows? If he's been here long enough, he must have seen cultists coming or going through any hidden passages. But be careful with them. I don't trust vampires. The map you saw might have been inaccurate. Perhaps, but I'd rather not find my way through half the cult to get to Quistley Savell. There's a passage in here. It could save us quite a lot of trouble. Get in, get what you need, then get out. That's how I prefer to do things.
Your comrade is correct.
Your comrade is correct. There is a hidden door.
You're not part of this cult.
You're not part of this cult, are you? In fact, you appear to be lost.
Your dark elf
friend watches me with no small amount of suspicion. Perfectly understandable, but I am not a slave to my hunger. Why are you wandering around Deep Scored Hollow anyway? The daughter of Sithis is fond of sacrificing strangers. We're searching for a brat named Quistley Savell. I've heard the name. The daughter of Sithis herself has him. These miserable Sithis pretenders. I can show you the passage you seek. I'll consider it payback for the way they've locked me up. That would be helpful. They hid the switch for a secret door under that crate over there by the wall. Clever if one is a child. I cannot believe I thought these weak-minded fools might have a genuine insight into the dark mysteries of Sithis. Tell me more about the daughter. Lelias is a noble from Leowin who made a game of dabbling in dark lore. As I understand it, she found this place and managed to wake a presence that had been sleeping here for ages. He surrendered to the darkness eagerly. I doubt that it cared. What about all the socialites who follow her? Fools and dilettantes bewitched by the daughter's powers. They believe she is the living embodiment of Sithis' dark will, servant of an ancient power. The only power she serves is her own avarice and lust, like any greedy mortal. Thank you for your help. Surprisingly helpful. Destroy this crate. That looks more like a barrel, honestly, but... Wait, would you do me a favor in return?
Knew it. I never grow tired of being correct.
I knew it. I never grow tired of being correct.
Perhaps
Before you rush off, you might unlock the cell. A favor in return for my showing you the switch. Let me again assure you, I am in control of my urges. I shall not harm you.
I shall not harm you.
First tell me how you wound up in that cell.
I came
here hoping the temple held answers about my condition. But the cultists discovered me as I fed upon an unwary noble from Gideon. The daughter of Sithis was intrigued, but when she realized I had not yet mastered my powers, she locked me away. Why don't you just turn to mist? Yes, that would be an elegant solution to my predicament. I'm afraid that I'm rather new to this state of being. I haven't figured out that trick yet. How do I know you won't attack us? I'm still capable of gratitude, stranger. I just want to be free of this place. I came here expecting something quite different. Fine, I'll let you out. I mean, I'll kill him if he attacks me, so it's fine. Thank you. Perhaps the friend you seek might still be alive. He's going off that way. That's the opposite of where we're going, so good luck to him and all his future endeavors.
This should take us right to the
cult's hidden temple. Come on.
Hold up a moment.
Hold up a moment. Before we go on, I've been thinking. I stumbled headlong into a bad situation once already. I do try to learn from my mistakes. I've been thinking, there's a good chance we won't find Quisly Savell alive. What happens if you return empty-handed? Nothing good. I wouldn't go so far as to say that it comes down to bringing Quisly in or taking his place, but it's close. I really need to be free of Lars Tull. I barely persuaded him to give me this chance. I won't get another one. What do you suggest, then?
This may sound ghoulish, but
if Quisly is dead, I'd like his signet ring. It's big gold and set with rubies. If I bring it back to Lars Tull, it will show that I held up my end of our bargain. He would take it in payment of my debt. We need to locate him first, alive or dead.
Someone's coming.
Someone's coming. There you are. I was afraid I wasted my time on the cultist. He knew nothing. Glad I caught up to you. You put the fear of the gods into our captive cultist. He was sobbing on the floor when I gave up and left. I did meet a surprisingly talkative vampire, though. He told me which way you went. And seriously, do not turn your back on Tanari. Have you learned anything more about this cult? Our weepy friend told me that Quisly is quite taken with this daughter of Sithis. Figures. My guess is he told her his family's wealthy, so she's keeping him alive for ransom. We'll probably find them in the shrine they call the Fane of Scorn. Nari knows where the Fane is, although she thinks Quisly may have already been sacrificed. He seems like the sort who expects the worst. I remain optimistic. I don't always get along with Quisly, but I don't want him to end up sacrificed by the cult. Or turn into some crime boss's object lesson, for that matter. Someone has to pay his debts in Leyawen. Not at the cost of his life. I'll figure out something, I always do. But just in case, warn Tanari that she'd better not try anything foolish when we get Quisly. She caught me off guard once, it won't happen again. Let's just find him first, then we can sort it all out.
You're not even going to apologize, are you?
You're not even going to apologize, are you? I'm sorry?
Just keep your
distance from Quisly. He's my responsibility. Alright. Looks like we're almost to the end of this dungeon. Couple of fights in here. I'm assuming there's going to be a mini boss of sorts in that last room. I mean, I guess you could argue it as a boss, but I mean, it's only going to be a one-tier elite, so I hesitate to just call it anything more than a mini-boss. And we get a level up, so we'll have to do that in a moment. Let's get past this door, so hopefully we're beyond where we're going to run into enemies here. I'm going to get a new staff that works for me. And a skill point, which we'll put into Magicka. Now, can't get anything here. Can't get anything here. Is there anything in these that we want to get? The cost of blast bones is reduced. Restore stamina. I guess we'll just do this. Skeleton deals more damage the longer it chases the target. Okay. I don't know how useful that's going to be in the grand scheme of things, but I'll go for it, and I will swap that in.
I'm no use in a fight right now.
They're in mid-battle, so we'll just help out.
I need to grab Quishley before he runs off again. Little bastard.
It's like the other one was already killed, which is unfortunate because I think that's where most of the gear drops are, but oh well. Quest done, that's what's important. How dare you? Lilias would never have hurt me, she said so. She murders people, you idiot. You were probably next. I'm not talking to you, Bastion, nor to that rude dark elf that just laughed at me. You've spoiled everything. You and that lumbering oaf my father insist on sending to make my life miserable. And whoever that dark elf is, barging in and ruining my life. Who do you people think you are? We saved your life. The cultists planned to sacrifice you. Well, that's just your opinion. Everyone here treated me as a guest of honor. And Lilias, the daughter of Sithis, chose me to be her consort. She told me she'd give me the kiss of Sithis soon. Why would you ruin this for me? Bastion tells me your parents demand your presence. I can't believe they sent Bastion after me again. They treat me as if I were a wayward child. I'm perfectly capable of managing my own affairs. I refuse to go. Denari says Lars Tull wants a word with you. That is no concern. Wait, did you say Lars Tull? Is that why the Dark Elf's here? I've seen her in his headquarters. Oh dear, I may owe him some gold. You're lucky to be leaving this place alive, whoever claimed you. Claim me? I'm not some sack of flour to be bargained over. No, very well. Bastion works for me indirectly. I'll go with him. I can write a promissory note for the Dark Elf to deliver her to her thug of a boss. He's a terrible person. I'm not sure the decision is up to you, Quishley. Bastion doesn't seem very fond of Quishley. I can't imagine why. We compared notes while you were talking with that simpering idiot. Bastion said he might have an idea that would solve things for both of us. You don't want to deliver him to Lars Tull? Years ago I lost everything trying to get my brother out of a fishy trading scheme. Lars Tull offered to help me. I'm still paying for it. It would be grand to be done with Lars Tull and to pull one over on him at the same time. That sounds risky. If Bastion's willing to work with me and perhaps forget about the knocked out and tied up business, I think we might have room for a compromise. I'll speak to him and see what he's thinking. Once we get Quishley out of here, I'm done. I've paid my debt to his family 3 times over. Alright, I think I know how to sort this out. Tenari is prepared to listen, that is. I'm willing to overlook the knock on the head to settle this. What's your plan? First, we need to get Quishley out of Blackwood. Tenari doesn't have anything personal against him. Well, no more than anyone else who meets him. But the criminal she'd bring Quishley that might kill him. Will Quishley go along with that? I'll threaten to tell his parents about this whole affair unless he cooperates and goes straight back to Daggerfall. Quishley knows that Lord Sabel can cut him off. It's the only threat that actually scares him. He would have to earn a living. What about Tenari?
I think we
can
all walk away from this. We ship Quistley home secretly. And we make sure that Tanari has something she can take back to Lars Tull. Thank you, friend. I think Lord Savell would agree that you've earned your payment.
What do you think, Tanari?
What do you think, Tanari? Are you willing to give it a try?
I'll need to bring
proof Lars Tull, proof of Quistley's demise. What kind of proof would you need? I'm clearly not dead.
If I bring
Quistley's signet ring to Lars Tull, he'll believe me. That's what I was thinking. I'll tell the Savells that Quistley sold the ring to pay his debt. I'm right here. That ring should work. That might even cover most of the Quistley's debt. What, my ring? I'm not giving you a damn thing. Bastion, keep that woman away from me. Here you go. I'll make sure Quistley understands. Stay away from Blackwood. Thank you. This should clear my account with Lars Tull, and perhaps clear yours with his ingrate and his family, too.
We should leave this place.
We should leave this place. I'll see Quistley on his way when he comes around. Alright. So once we leave this room, we can summon him as a companion. And they have their own skill trees and all that stuff. It's fairly interesting how they've done it. I don't know how effective they are, because I haven't used them that much. But I mean, having an extra person by your side in battle, it never hurts, you know? Especially if it's someone you don't have to organize with. I do want to make sure we check all this stuff. Not leaving anything important behind. Doesn't look like it, though. I'll grab that. Alright, let's step out. So, now that we've done that, if I go into collections, where is it? Allies, I think. Yeah, companions. So this one I have to do a quest to summon her, but we're going to summon you. Unfortunately, it doesn't tell you here what his likes and dislikes are. You have to sort of just make an assumption based on them. You might even be able to talk to them to learn stuff.
Let's see what's around the next bend.
If I talk to him, you have an option to go in the companion menu. This lets you set his skills and everything. I'll show you real quick. Yeah, you get the rapport meter, cordial and angry. I assume they get extra benefits if you bring them up higher. You can set companion outfit. I believe that's under this. Yeah, so we can give him a different outfit. We can dress him like Manny Marco because I've finished the main story in another character. You sometimes get equipment drops that can replace what he already has on. Right now he's just, you know, generic equipment stuff. And right now he has a destructive blast, a ability to heal, which is good. I think he only heals himself though. And Kindle, which is a fireball spell. Mostly just going to be, you know, damage over time.
Did you need something? I'm listening.
Tell me about yourself.
I've had
some mage training, so I'm pretty handy with the destruction staff. I'm also decent with the sword and board. You know, one-handed weapon and shield.
What's on your mind? I'm listening.
How do you feel about a friendship? I like that you're a listener. So many people like to hear themselves talk. Okay? You just have to wing it and hope that you don't accidentally trigger something negative. Not the best, but oh well, what can you do? At the very least, we now have a traveling companion and a little bit extra damage as we go. So with that, we can head back over to the main town. And I guess we can try to wrap up the quest that I left half finished at the end of the last episode. Let's get over to the teleporty deck. Alright, so use this. Is there a closer one? Not really. We want to go down here. I guess I'll just go out here and go. I think there's a door that leads to the docks right around there. And while I'm there, I can check to see if there's anything we need to put away in the crafting area. Because they can, companions need to find specific companion items. You can't just equip them with anything.
The rude people, the noise, the chaos.
Which is mildly annoying, because
Strange that I find it
typically you're going to have just excess items hanging around just from, you know, trying to get gear to break down for this. Alright, we do have something here. We can do that. Now that's just for breaking, so we'll do that. That's also just for breaking. Make that real quick. We're going to be good on that for a while. Keep that because it's needed for research. You're also already doing something. We don't have anything there to break down. Double check this before we go off on our way. Doesn't look like we have much there either. Okay, fair enough. So the easiest way out of town seems to be over here. I'm kind of hoping we'll be able to hit level 10 by the time we wrap things up today. Level 10, it's... I guess you could argue it's a major level in the sense that it's where you unlock the ability to go to Cyrodiil, which is essentially the PvP area of the game. I don't really care much about PvP myself, so I don't know how much I'll do it, but, I mean, it's always nice to have it unlocked. There's a quest over here we'll grab real quick, though. To whomever finds me, deliver this letter and ring in my bag to Turta, Falto, and Leowin. Dearest Turta, go ahead and pet it, it's just a harmless mongrel, you said. Little did I know how wrong we both were. The sorry-looking mutt was an omen, my sweet, and the harbinger of my demise. I can still picture that perfect night in Leowin. Your face, radiant, resplendent, shining in the sun as we walked among the streets. I desperately wish, that I could see it one more time, I wish. I wish I'd given you the ring in my pocket and proposed to you as I planned. I wish I had instead reached down and tried to pet the damn dog. It bit me, of course, but that superficial wound was just the start. Naturally, I couldn't propose to you with blood gushing from my hand, so I bit my tongue, held my peace, and excused myself to the nearest healer. They were a kind Argonian, bandaged my wound and provided a medicinal toad for the pain. Sadly, it would prove to be a meager balm for the true injury. As the sun set, I was wrecked by wild fever dreams. The last thing I recall was tearing off my clothing and running howling into the night. I woke up in someone's chicken coop covered in blood and feathers. Please understand I do this for you. Were I to see you again while under this curse, I might cause you harm. I couldn't live with myself if that happened, so I won't. I'll leave you the ring I never gave you. It was meant for you and no one else. Always yours, Ulysses Fulvanus. So obviously he was going to become a werewolf and decided to just go ahead and nip that in the bud really damn quick. We have to go back into town to drop that off, so we're just going to keep going forward. We might as well get 3 quests done if we can. Alright, grab this, as it's a lore book for it getting the Mages Guild up. There's also this over here. Now, this is a Thieves' Trove. It helps you give the Thieves Guild quest line, and it gives you stolen items. I'm going to grab everything just because, why not? He does not like stealing. Okay, so we learned one thing he didn't like. So we need to avoid stealing in front of him. I'll probably just ditch these because I'm not going to pay to have them turned over. There's no point equipping that until we can turn it back over onto ourselves. Stay alert, I have a good authority that you're in danger. Of course, Counselor. Step back and state your business. I have every reason to believe that my life is in danger. If you so much as make a threatening gesture, the Brigadier will dismember you. He has very strict orders on that regard. I'm working for Captain Rien Lior. I was sent here to tell you that the threat is real. I was beginning to suspect as much. Very well. Tell me everything you have learned, leave nothing out, and I want to hear it all. The Dark Brotherhood has already murdered Pharaoh Lupus and Counselor Jurich.
Lupus. Emperor Leovic's old steward.
Lupus? Emperor Leovic's old steward, and Jurich as well. Gods, they are targeting the Elder Council. Anything else? Tell me. The slightest detail could make the difference between life and death. I think it has something to do with Leovic's secret. Something called the Four Ambitions. The Ambitions? I heard that term once before, years ago. I must go to Tidewater Cave. I have a cache hidden there and I need to check my records. Meanwhile, I suggest you find Jurich's files. She kept them in a hidden compartment in her nightstand. Your records include information on Leovic's secret. Possibly. I oversaw the Imperial Treasury, so my records deal with expenditures and collections. I have documents going as far back as Emperor Murakar, possibly even Duracoach. And I know I saw that term someplace. We'll see what I can find. How well did you know Counselor Jurich? Extremely well. We were rivals as well as colleagues on the Elder Council. It was that way between all the councils, I suppose. Her death is a tragedy, however. I will miss her. So we gotta do some running around. I've only seen negative reception with the companions, so I don't know if they have things that you do that pleases them.
Oh, your sense of style is uniquely
I guess,
Would you be willing to assist me?
if he, like, he's a mage, so maybe doing alchemy might please him? But it is kind of annoying with the amount of crafting things you have to do in this game, that they've designed it to where there's a negative point to doing normal gameplay stuff. But I guess that's kind of like the catch-22 of using the companions. You get an AI companion, extra damage in every battle, but you sort of have to pick one that suits your playing and role-playing style. I'll go in here. We'll probably make a beeline to the person we're meant to give the ring to first. Does the other one require... I forget if I have to sneak into a house or if we can just walk in, but it works in a loop around sort of fashion. I think the girl with the ring is over here anyway. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it is where that ring is up there. No worries. Easy enough to just loop around. Just pet the dog, it's harmless. Oh, Turta, you idiot. No wonder he hasn't. Is there something you want? I'd like to be left alone right now. I found this letter on a body in the wilderness. They said to deliver this letter and ring to you. Body? Ring? Raymond on High? What's this about? Colossus wrote this, and he's dead? This makes no sense. Howling? Chicken coops? It was just a mangy mutt. I don't even think it was a rabbit, let alone... Oh no, Alossus, you poor fool. He wasn't cursed, he was hallucinating. The toad that Argonian used to ease his pain must have been too strong for him. Alossus convinced himself he was a werewolf and he... This is the second worst proposal I've ever had. The second worst.
I was
once kidnapped by a crazed Sulzan warlord and offered the heads of my neighbors as a dowry. I'd rather not talk about it. I've had more than a dozen failed engagements in my life. If anyone here is cursed, it's me. But it's not all bad news. How's that? Aloysius didn't run off and leave me like half the others. He even gave his life to protect me. I've never had anyone love me that much. Is it wrong that it makes me happy? Take this for delivering my betrothed's last wishes. It was kind of you. Okay, that's an upgrade for what we have, so I'll gladly take that. I wonder if the Temple of Mara would marry us posthumously. It was his dying wish, after all. Maybe I should employ a priest of Arcade for the ceremony, so he can pass on without regrets. You want to marry your dead suitor? Well, why not? I've had absolutely no luck with the living, and it's what he wanted. I'd rather die a widow than an old maid. Can't argue with that. Not like this is how I dreamed of getting married, but after being jilted so many times, I may as well marry a man who can't change his mind. You may not get it, but for your sake, I hope you never have to. Alright. Let's equip that real quick. And while I'm over here, I might as well dip into the thieves' den and sell that one thing. At least I don't think it's something I want to turn over. I think it was a stamina item. So yeah, if we ever do Thieves Guildy type stuff, we're probably going to have to swap to a different companion. Because I'm not going to be dealing with his disposition going down every time. I mean, I have to assume they can't make it to where it's impossible for him to get happy again. Like, you can't permanently lose him on that character or something, so I don't know what lower disposition would do aside from just making him make snide comments sometimes. Alright, so where am I going now? Over here, okay, so I don't know why I didn't see that on the map before, but I guess I was looking around for something else. I probably saw the big ring and just completely overlooked the other one. So pop on around over here-ish. And we're looking for Evelyn, who's hanging out over here. Oh, hey, over here. I'm glad you're here. I've been searching all over, but I could use your help. This place is huge. Why do rich people need so many rooms? Oh, but tell me, did you warn the counselors like I asked? Valeria's protection is going to search your records, but I was too late to save Sophus. Sophus is dead. Damn. Was it the Dark Brotherhood? What am I saying? Of course it was. I've torn this place apart, but so far I haven't found anything related to Imperial secrets or the ambitions. Maybe you can spot something I missed. Chancellor Valeria told me George kept records in a hidden compartment in their nightstand. I knew you'd be a help, but I didn't expect you to just have the answer the moment you walked in. Good job. Chancellor George's bedroom is upstairs. Let's see if we can find that hidden compartment. Okay. Luckily, the quest markers do make things a little overly easy at times, because you can sort of see them from the lower floors. Councillor Jurich. It is time to rally the caretakers and move the ambitions. The new vault location should ensure their safety and keep them hidden until I or the High Priest call for them. The forces loyal to the traitor Varen draw ever closer, and we cannot allow the ambitions to fall into their hands. This is your official order. Act immediately. This line is written in the complex Imperial Code, Emperor Leovic. A hidden compartment. I love it. I mean, I hate that people have died, but... So, what did you find? It's an order from Leovic. He told Jurch to move the ambitions, but the last line's in code. Let me see that. That's a code, alright. Some of the other documents I found use something similar. You know, I'm really starting to hate all the secrecy surrounding the ambitions. Leyland is an imperial city. Maybe someone here can decipher it. Good idea. We need to report into Chancellor Leviticus anyway. Let him know what we've uncovered. If he has a qualified scribe, great. If not, I know someone. They help me with these other documents. Let's go to Leowen Castle and talk to Leviticus. I'll meet you there. I can't help but feel that once we solve the secret of the Longhouse Emperors, we'll know how to stop the Dark Brotherhood from murdering any more of the counselors. I'll see you at the castle. Now, before we go following her, there's probably a bunch of places that we can search for parts. Okay, he likes reading books, so that's good to know. That'll probably be pretty easy to build up then. Don't steal, read books. I'm mostly just finding crafting parts, so nothing too overly exciting. I'm also not sure if there's like a cooldown and how often you can do the actions that they like. I'm assuming you can't just spam the same bookshelf over and over again until they love you. Although I don't know how long the cooldown period would be. We know roast pig, so don't grab that. Actually, you know what? I haven't done any guild joining yet, but I'll hold on to that for the time being. Because if I do join a, wood elf crafting motif. So if you read these, you learn how to do that particular crafting style, so now I can make wood elf equipment. Yeah, I guess that's everything. Looks like. Alright, fair enough. At least we learned how to make him happy. I'm curious how often you can lose and gain reputation, though. I also don't even know what it does, like as far as a benefit to you. I would assume there's got to be a benefit for having high reputation. Like maybe they get a stat bonus or something. I need your report, mercenary. Word reached me that the Councillor Juris was murdered. What about Sophus and Philaria? And did you find a definitive proof that the Dark Brotherhood is our culprit? Councillor Sophus has been murdered too, but Philaria is safe. These notes were by each of the bodies. That's the Black Hand, symbol of the Dark Brotherhood. I wish Jurch and Sophus had allowed me to assign brigadiers to protect them. At least Philaria, however reluctantly, agreed to a military escort. Did you and Evely uncover any other information? We gathered a few documents we think Councillor Leviticus should see. It appears that Councillor Leviticus's trust in the Wood Elf was not misplaced. Very well, you and Evely can head in and talk to the Councillor. Head over here and finish out this section of the quest. Captain Ryan and the Ivory Brigade will deal with the Dark Brotherhood. We're perfectly safe in here.
You must be the mercenary.
You must be the mercenary that Captain Ryan told me about. And I see you're working with Evely Sharp Arrow. Good. I assume you have something to report. I'm listening. The counselors were murdered. These notes were left beside the bodies. Damn it to all oblivion and back. I should have taken Pharaoh Lupus more seriously when I received his letter. This is definitely the mark of the Dark Brotherhood. Anything else to add to this? Jurch and Sophus left behind the documents, but part of them is written in code. Yes, that's the Longhouse Emperor's code. Only a handful of Imperial scribes can decipher it. I know one. Buragon. I'll send for him at once. Meanwhile, we must warn the remaining counselors on the list. Abor, Valeria, Etina, and Vadencia. Counselor Valeria is under guard and collecting her records from Tidewater Cave. Very good. I've sent messages to Tina and Vandencia already. I hate some of these names. As neither of them are currently within Leowin's jurisdictions. I need to go to Fort Blueblood. Council Abor has taken refuge there, but I prefer to have her here in Leowin. I'll go there and talk to her. Everything we do now must be swift if we are to get ahead of this. Go to the fort and advise the counselor to return to the city. She'll be safer here than at the fort. You must know more about the Emperor's secret and the ambitions. Sadly, no. Whenever Leovic confided in Pharaoh Lupus and the others, whatever he ordered them to do, he kept it in complete secret from me. I suppose he assumed I wouldn't go along with anything illegal or Daedric, and he was right. But weren't you the chief counselor of the Elder Counselor? I was, but the Elder Council is made up of almost 24 counselors. According to the list Everly Sharparrow brought me, only 7 counselors were privy to the secret. Make that 6. I have no idea why Leovic listed me among that group. There must have been some reason. Who knows what was going through Leovic's head when he wrote that entry in his journal? Baron and his rebels were literally pounding at the doors of the palace at the time, and Leovic wasn't totally in his right mind even before the rebellion. Why is Councilor Abor at Fort Blueblood? Abor has always had an affinity for the Imperial military. When she received her letter of warning from Pharaoh Lupus, she sent word to me. Told me she was going to the fort, that the soldiers would protect her. I fear she's badly mistaken. You don't think the fort is safe? Only a token force of Brigadines guards Fort Blueblood. If the Dark Brotherhood is truly our enemy, I fear a lone assassin can bypass the fort's defenses with relative ease. Abor would be better off here in the castle. Go and bring her back at once. Tell me more about the Emperors. The Longhouse Emperors were reachmen who seized control of the Empire and ruled for some 40 years. Duracoach the Black Drake founded the ruling house. Morikar ascended to the throne after his father's death, and his son Leovic followed him. What happened to Leovic? Leovic made a mistake. When he decided to declare Daedra worship as the law of the land, Duke Varen Aquilius objected. He led a rebellion and personally dispatched Leovic in the Imperial throne room. Thus ended the Longhouse Emperor's reign. Varen is kind of the main character of the main plot of this game. So if you were doing this DLC when it came out after doing all the other content, you would know who that is. Well, that's not the end of the story. Unfortunately, no. Varen disappeared a few years later and the Empire collapsed. Now the so-called alliances are fighting over the scraps and Tamriel is in shambles. We're doing all we can just to keep Blackwood safe and secure. And I was kind of hoping that would end that quest and start a new one, but oh well. We will probably have to wrap up that particular quest line next week. As we've been doing this for about an hour, so it seems about right to call it a day for this particular episode. But we got a companion now, so it should have an extra edge in fights, so it'll help out against, elite enemies while we're still getting the hang of our class here. Didn't quite make it to level 10, but I'm sure that'll come into play next time. In the meantime, I'm going to wish you goodbye, and I will see you next week for more Elder Scrolls Online.